G'day to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club, coming to you today from Darling Harbour on this overcast, slightly windy autumn Sydney day. I didn't get a chance this morning to do my morning vlog because I caught a later bus, but what I'm doing is I'm catching up now during my lunch time here just next to my work at this fantastic, most beautiful location. And today what I want to do is just do a short walk and talk, and the book that I'm going to summarize and talk about is entitled The Complete Keto Diet for Beginners by an author named Amy Ramos. So I think I talked about keto yesterday or the day before, but it is one of those topics which is quite fascinating, and I guess everybody, regardless of what age they are, is looking to shed a few excess kilos. Because regardless of what we do, regardless of how active we are, regardless of how many steps we do throughout the day, sooner or later 5 or 6 or 10 or 12 kilos will magically appear on the scales. And I guess COVID-19, the 2 years of COVID-19, the stresses of those lockups, and the challenges that we faced didn't help, where a lot of people put on a bit of excess conditioning. I must admit I am a fan of the keto diet, having started many years ago. I remember I was at school, believe it or not, at high school, and I think it was about 16 years of age where I came across this magical diet which enabled you, back then in the infancy, to eat as much meat as you wanted, as long as you didn't eat bread, rice, pasta, sweets and all of those things. And being a typical teenager who just loved eating meat, it was a diet that worked for me. And I remember having some moderate success as a young fellow and being able to lose a bit of the puppy fat that I had, and it made me feel a lot more self-confident and a lot healthier and better in those days where those things are even more important for young people. And then again at university I did another keto diet where I was able to lose quite a bit of weight, where I measured my carbs and I minimized my carbs. I think back then it was just the 20 grams of carbs a day, which once again is a keto style of diet. And once again back then I was able to lose a lot of weight when I was at university and felt absolutely fantastic. It was the breakthrough moment in my life where I was able to take charge of my physical aspect of my life, and to be able to wear clothes and to do things and to be as sporting as possible, because I wasn't carrying that excess weight. So I've learnt over the years that it does work, and it does work for me. And I recall my mother always saying that bread seems to be our enemy, and by eating lots of bread we can put on lots of weight, which is probably another way of talking about the fact that carbohydrates for certain people seem to be their number one hurdle in terms of commencing weight loss, maintaining it, and continuing it. So a keto diet, in terms of definition, is a full-time commitment. That's something that I learnt as well over the years. Now, you can't dabble in a keto diet. It is a full-time commitment where you need to stick to it in order to break through your carb withdrawals in week 1. So the first week or 2 on this particular diet are indeed the hardest. They're the times where you are struggling because you feel lethargic, you feel really weak, and your head plays games with you. And it's at this point that most people just give up the ghost and just give up the whole diet because they can't handle that initial hump, that initial challenge that we face. And I guess it's where our brain starts to play games with us, and you need to really stick to it in order to get over that little hurdle. And once you get over that hurdle and you start seeing some results, then you can become more confident and more competent, because I don't know about you, but I know with me, when I start seeing results, I get encouraged and I just want to keep on doing it as long as I'm seeing continued results. I'm not the sort of person who can stick to something for a long time and just hope that the results come. I need to be on the scale throughout the day and just monitoring my progress and celebrating the breakthroughs. So in a nutshell, a keto diet forces your body to burn its own source of fat as a source of energy. It's a form of ketosis. That's why it's called a keto diet, a ketogenic diet, because ketosis is a metabolic state. It's a state that helps us burn and to generate energy from different sources that are not the same as what you would get if you were on a carb-rich sort of diet. So the first key point to come from this author is where he talks about the fact that ketosis occurs when your body gets its energy from its own source of fat instead of ingesting carbs, instead of sourcing energy such as glycogen from your muscle stores. So we need to make a decision, and that decision is quite easy. We need to let go of carbs for good and to make a positive lifestyle change is once again the key message, because what it does is that allows us to effectively manage and regulate our insulin levels, and it helps us to avoid any spikes in insulin, and we are better able to manage and access the energy levels. And what the author is basically saying there is that once you get into a ketogenic state and start accessing your energy levels from your fat stores, then what happens is you do feel a lot more awake, you do feel a lot more energetic. But what happens is, in order to get to that point, you've got to go through a low point, because what happens is your body needs to first use up the stores of glycogen which are still present in your muscles, and once that glycogen is used up, it takes about 2 or 3 days or 4 days to use up those glycogen stores. And once that glycogen finishes and you feel weak and you feel tired and you feel lethargic, then what happens is your body magically searches other sources of energy throughout your body, and it releases the fat stores and then uses those fat stores to feed your energy needs throughout your body. So essentially a keto diet only has about 5% of the calories coming from carbs, which amounts to 25 grams a day for the average person. Of course, if you're bigger, you've got a bigger sort of body, you may need some extra carbs, or if you're a petite sort of person in terms of a lighter body weight, then you may need to trim back that carb amount to something which is a little bit less. So we need to receive the fats and proteins from healthy sources. We're not talking about ingesting fats, any fats, just for the sake of having fat. Those fat stores or those fat sources that you access need to be healthy types of fats, such as avocado, nuts, certain oils. But what you need to do is to steer clear, where possible, of trans fats and opt for the good fats, as we mentioned: fish, nuts, lean meats, avocados, seeds, and things like that. So we need to receive our fat and our proteins from healthy sources. So it's important to be balanced and to be cognizant of the importance of sourcing nutritious meals and not just eating anything just because it's, you know, a source of fat. So what will happen to us, according to this author, is we will have some challenges along the way, and we will most probably in the first 2 or 3 days, in the first week, suffer a thing called the keto flu. And the keto flu occurs in the initial phase of the keto diet when you start to reduce your carbs. But the important thing to understand is that even though it's debilitating in the beginning, what happens is that the keto flu will pass. You need to drink lots of water, you need to be relaxed, you need to rest and to sleep well, and it will pass. And initially your breath will smell differently. You'll have a metallic taste in your mouth, and your breath won't be as pleasant as what you hope it would be. But and your urine will look a little bit unusual as well. It will look a little bit odd. But as we're saying, this is just normal. And the reason why it's normal is because your body is changing the way in which it accesses and processes and metabolizes its food, and it will be burning fat in your body and helping you reduce your waistline, your weight, your fat that's currently sitting there waiting to be used. So the author here talks about a diet based on 70% fat, 20 to 25 grams of protein, or 20 to 20% of your carbs as proteins, and about 5% of your carbs, your calories as carbs. So the key point that we need to get our head around is that we need to adopt a lifestyle change, and that lifestyle change needs meal prep so that you can eliminate the stress of not having a meal available. So you can also eliminate any temptations that may come your way. Because when it's all said and done, when you're dieting or when you're on a keto diet, everything you do is interrelated, and we need to reduce, where possible, the stresses that we put on our mind, on our body, and to be calm, to be relaxed, so we reduce the amount of cortisol that is surging and being infused into our bodies and secreted into our bloodstream. And one way of doing it is to drink plenty of water, to stick to your plan, to your program, and to just hang in there, because it's guaranteed. The longer you stick to your keto diet, the better the outcomes, the more consistent the outcomes will be. And the better health you'll have, the better you will feel, because your energy spikes, your sugar spikes, your insulin spikes, your cortisol spikes will be minimized where possible. For those who are interested, for me, this week is an important week for my spiritual development. It's the Greek Orthodox Holy Week, and today, on Wednesday, is the day where I do a very, very strict fast from today through to Resurrection Sunday, where all I will be eating, or all I will be taking into my body, will be water, just water. So my body will rapidly get into a ketogenic state. Ketosis starts in about 2 or 3 days, but because I'm just having water and nothing else, no sugars, no carbs, no proteins, absolutely nothing but water, then I will have a reduction of this on the scale of about 3 or 4 or sometimes even 5 kilos. But what we'll do is I do this in order to pursue my faith, my Christian faith, and to prepare myself for Resurrection Sunday, for that magnificent moment in our lives, to recreate it and to relive it, and also to enjoy the Holy Communion that I will partake in, as well as the breaking of the fast that I've been keeping for quite a while now. So come Sunday morning, it will be 55 days since I have eaten meat, and about 49 days since I've had any dairy, any eggs, and I've basically purged my body of all of the toxins that those meals may have contributed to. And this last moment, this last 3.5, close to 4 days, until midnight or 1 o'clock, 1 a.m. on Sunday morning, will enable me to just do the last bit of prep to get me to the point where I want to be, so that I can really feel and live my faith, and to enjoy the ketogenic experience along the way. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club. As you see, we talk about different things, we talk about different topics, and we do it randomly. Whatever pops up, we talk about, and hopefully we can take 2 or 3 things, 2 or 3 lessons that we can add to our inventory of skills and life hacks that we can use to improve our life, to improve our lifestyle, to improve our health, and also to improve our own image, so that we are able to, I guess, live better, or to at least live the best version of our life that we can live. It's a bit sad, it's a bit unusual though, that we live in a world now where people don't really care about body image as much as what they did in previous generations. We've got this whole movement of positive body imaging, positive body image. So regardless of what body shape you have, there seems to be a movement which seems to suggest that it's okay to be obese, it's okay to be grossly obese, and people should just enjoy their lives, enjoy themselves, and be themselves. But you can't really turn a blind eye to the many health issues that are generated and created by bad eating habits, and carrying 20, 30, 40, 50 kilos in excess weight translates into 4 times that on your joints, on your ligaments. And you've got people in their 30s and 40s who are walking, are shuffling, have problems with their ligaments, with their arches in their feet. And the reason for that is that they're carrying a massive amount of excess weight, which is putting pressure on their heart, putting pressure on all aspects of their physicality, and also changing the way people see them. People can talk about all this positive body image until the cows come home, but the reality is that within ourselves we have a program where we are programmed to know what is beautiful, what is ideal, and I guess the goal that everyone should have should be to try and be, as I mentioned before, the best version they have of themselves, which means having some discomfort. It means limiting the calories that go into your body, which means changes in the foods that we consume, the sugars that we overconsume, the calories that we overindulge in, so that we can be healthier and better for today and tomorrow. Anyway, take care everybody. Yassas, bye for now, and wishing you all the very best from Jim's 5 a.m. Club, where I look forward to coming to you again from a different place, a different location, with a different message of empowerment, where we can live, learn, and pass it on, and hopefully become role models to other people so that they too can be emissaries of good messages and of good practices. Yassas, take care, and bye for now.